As I record this video right now, I own over $45 million worth of real estate I bought without using any of my own money, and I've bought over 1,000 houses in the last 8 years. That sounds crazy to say. I have to pinch myself like I'm living in the Twilight Zone, but those are real numbers. But you don't really care about that, right? You probably just think I'm another guru flexing to try to get your attention and sell you a course, right? But you're wrong. I'm just a normal guy here to tell you my story to hopefully inspire you into taking action, because if I can do what I've done over the past 8 years, I promise you can do the same thing. I did not inherit a dime from my parents, and I grew up smack dab in the middle of the country in Missouri, smack dab in the middle of the middle class. So in this video, I want to walk you through the 4 most impactful realizations or moments that I had in my journey that helped me go from a normal guy to a normal guy that's financially free, owning $45 million in real estate. The first realization for me is when I realized that making money was just a game. You see, I grew up with the mindset that you had to go to work every single day, work for one company for 40 years, and then eventually you'll have enough money to retire. I remember getting my first offer on a job when I was still in college. That spring, I was gonna go to work that spring for a tractor supply company, and they offered me a $24,000 base plus commission. I remember being a little bummed out because 24 grand just graduating college with my master's degree didn't seem like a lot. But then I thought, if I can double that with commission, I'll be making $48,000 a year. And to me at that time, $48,000 a year was more than I ever thought I would make, probably until I was 40 years old. So there was a little bit of a mindset shift there. Flash forward a couple years later, I was doing pretty good at that job, and I got my first big commission check for selling a lot of big construction equipment, and that was a $35,000 commission check, and I thought my life was changed forever and I was rich. Flash forward a couple more years, and I was making about $250,000 a year at that job, and that still wasn't enough for me. I realized that if I can make $250,000 in a year, why can't I make $250,000 in a quarter, or $250,000 a month, or $250,000 in a day? You see, that's all possible. I know people that actually make that because they have the mindset and they realize that they want more. The most impactful shift for me was realizing that I was able to do more, and I didn't have to go down the exact path of my parents, the exact path of my friends, the exact path of everybody else that society tells you. Just realizing that I could do more, and then making money was all a game was big for me. The next big realization for me was understanding and harnessing the power of debt. You see, I grew up with the thought that all debt was bad. Debt is bad, W-2 job, 401k, IRA, that's the way to wealth. And that's simply not the case. As I'm talking to you, I am in $26 million worth of debt, but that $26 million worth of debt allows me to own $45 million worth of real estate. So I have $19 million in equity that I would not have if I was not in debt. See, I realized there's good debt and there's bad debt. Bad debt is the debt that we're taught to fear growing up, consumer debt. We're talking car loans, student loans, credit card debt. Of course, those things are bad. Now they're okay to have them if you can afford them, but that's not a way to create wealth. A way to create wealth is to borrow money to buy assets that produce cash and grow in value. That is the most impactful thing I have ever learned up to this point. Just understanding the difference between good debt and bad debt has made the biggest impact on my wallet out of anything I've learned. Good debt is borrowing money to buy something that produces cash and grows in value. Then you take the cash and the value growth and pay off whoever you borrowed the money from, and then you own that asset. This is how Apple and Amazon and Tesla and all these huge companies that you've heard of, this is how they all start, by borrowing money to produce or buy something. I didn't have enough money to buy real estate when I started, so I just acted like I had enough money and borrowed other people's money. This concept of being okay with debt, as long as you're buying an asset with that debt, completely changed my mind and completely changed my life and family's lives for generations to come. The third most impactful moment so far for me was when I realized the power of real estate, and I kind of saw the fruits of what I've been doing. So I've been investing in real estate for 4 or 5 years and growing a rental portfolio that was gaining a lot of value pretty rapidly. So the value had gone up and the mortgages that I had been paying down. So I created a lot of equity pretty quickly. So 2 separate times from 2020 to 2021, I did cash out refinances. In 2020, I pulled out $880,000 of tax-free money. I pulled that out of the equity of my rental portfolio that I've been building for 4 years. And values went up so much from 2020 to 2021. I was able to pull out about $2.2 million of tax-free money from the equity of the rental portfolio that I've been building while using other people's money, because I realized that I could do more. As you can see, these all are kind of stacking on top of each other. like going up a set of stairs. So this path and this journey that had been on led me to this point of being able to pull out a couple $1 million of tax-free money from equity in my rentals that I'd been growing over the past several years because I've been doing things the right way. Now, I didn't over leverage myself and I wasn't borrowing way more than I had owed. I still had less than 70% loan to value, but it just went to show me that everything I'd been doing can lead to big numbers, not just a couple $100 per month per cash flow per unit. The fourth most impactful moment actually just happened recently, and this was kind of a culmination of a lot of different things. This is the biggest deal we've done up to date, or I guess the best deal we had done up to date. Over the past several years, I've been building relationships with wholesalers, building relationships with small local banks, private money lenders, contractors, pretty much everybody that I could. I've been building a relationship because real estate is a relationship business. So we got a lead on an 18-unit hotel in Branson, Missouri. Branson, Missouri is a pretty big vacation destination here in the Midwest, so we went down there to check out the deal, and it looked good on paper, but we had to raise several $100,000. We had to get the bank to approve the purchase. We had to get a bank to approve the construction. So there was a lot of things that had to fall into place for us to be able to make that deal work. So the numbers on this deal are massive. So we bought the property for $850,000 and it appraised for almost $2 million. So when I signed on closing last week, we made almost $1 million just by signing on the dotted line. And as everything else, we're doing this entire deal without using any of our own money. Once the property gets up and running, we'll be cash flowing $15,000 to $20,000 a month of positive cash flow, and we'll have almost $2 million worth of equity. Now, those are big numbers and they're great to brag on a little bit, but they just show the power of thinking big and taking the step that I have taken. Now, everybody's path to creating wealth and financial freedom through real estate is completely different. No one will walk the same path that I have, but just know that you do have a path out there, and leaning on other people's knowledge will help you walk that path faster, stubbing your toe less, and be able to do things quicker and more efficiently. If you'd like some guidance walking your own path, make sure to follow me here and other people on social media that are doing what you want to do. Stop taking financial advice from broke people. So hit that subscribe button. See you in the next video.